This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Likit, is your friend Johnny?
Uh, just a second. I'm checking with him. I just texted him.
No, he's in. He's in. Thank you.
Yeah.
Give me a minute. Okay. So, as of yesterday, we are talking about user lifecycle management. Give me a second. I'm sorry for waiting, you guys. Okay, can you hear me now? Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes, sir,
you're
you are
audible.
audible.
Yes. All right, thank you. So, if you look into this is the fifth session, right? What we discussed yesterday so far, right? We're talking about user life cycle management, where we talked about creating user, adding permissions to him, and looking into different use cases where what kind of requests and how complex requirements we will get and how do we solve them. Then we also looked into an elevated privilege role called security underscore admin. That is an elevated privilege role, right? So that will help you to write access control list, okay, and high security settings, right? Now that we are aware of users, roles, and elevated role, now let's talk about a concept called groups. Okay, what is group? A group is nothing but a team, right? A team. Let's assume as an organization you are having a 50,000 employees in an organization. So all the 50,000 people don't work on the same technology, right? So based on the skill set and their knowledge, they will be divided into different teams, right? So they will be different works. They will be doing different works, and their scope of work will be completely different, right? Let's say, how is it related to the service now? Let's say, what is ServiceNow? ServiceNow is a ticketing tool on a layman language, correct? It's a ticketing tool, right? When it's a ticketing tool, what do you people do? People raise a concern saying, "Hey, my iOS is not working, right? My iOS is not working, right? My Apple operating system is not working." So a service desk executive will create a ticket. An executive will create a incident, will create an incident or something, right? When it is created, service desk executive have no idea how to fix these iOS issues, correct? He have no idea. He's just a front end line. He sit in the front line saying, hi, hello to the customers and make sure the issue is solved, right? And what he will do, he will assign this particular ticket to respective group, right? Respective group. What is the respective group? So in this case, it is iOS team, right? So he will look for the iOS team and assign it to iOS team. So somebody from the iOS team will pick up, right? Will pick this incident, and they will fix this issue. They will fix this issue. How it works is, if you go to the incident here, okay, if you go to incident here, let's say there is a issue that comes in, the service desk executive will create a new incident, right? Hit on new, okay. Then he will select the caller, right? Who is that caller? What is your name? And once you decided that he's so and so, then he's a Randall, right? And we select a Randall here. Hmm? And we also set up the category. Okay, it's a software issue, and the subcategory is operating system, and services blah blah blah. Then short description is iOS issues, right? And they will describe the issue. So user having issues with iOS. Then once you did this, which team, which group is going to work on this, right? iOS group. Right? Yes, iOS. There's an iOS group that will be here, and that team will work on this. Right? There's an iOS group that will work on this. Right? In this case, there is no iOS group, right? So let me assign this particular ticket to some database or help desk team, some hardware team. So somebody from the hardware group, right? So now what happens? Hardware group will get a notification. Hardware group will get a notification, and this particular people from the team, and the hardware team, how many people? We have bunch of people here. These are the persons who works in hardware team. So somebody, some hardware team manager or team lead will assign this particular incident to David Lu, and David Lu will start working on it, and he will reach out to Randall and gets this issue fixed. Hmm? That is about the groups. So now this is about existing groups, how we are using it. Correct? There are existing groups, then we can utilize. But if you see, just observe it. We look for iOS group. Is there iOS group in place? No, there is no iOS group
No,
there.
sir.
So then, yeah. So then what does it mean? We need to create a new iOS group over there. Right? We need to create a new iOS group so that that group will be visible here. Right? And then the use case here is what I'm going to discuss here is use case here is create a group, name it as iOS group, iOS team, okay, and add 15 users, right? Some 15 users, and so that all these these 15 users, all the iOS team members, whenever there is an issue comes with iOS, the one of these 15 members will start assisting us. Okay, so how can I go ahead and create this group now? So what's the first thing I need to do? Go to left navigation, type groups under system security. If you see, there is a groups here, right? You see the groups, this is the groups, right? Open this group here, right? Open this group. When you open this group, click on new, right? So these are all the existing groups we have, 42 groups we have, right? So now a brand new group I'm going to create. What is my group name? iOS team. Okay, iOS team is my team name, and who is the manager of my team? There are a bunch of people. John Newton is my management team. So that means he have authorization to add or remove people to this group. Okay, and you will enter the description. Okay, so this group is responsible for all iOS related issues. iOS related issues, right? Then what is group email? Just mentioned, whenever a ticket is assigned to iOS team, hardware team, the hardware team will get notified, right? Where are they getting notified? They every team in organization will have a group mailbox. They will have a generic group mailbox there, right? That group mailbox will be alerted saying there is an incident has been assigned to you, right? So what is my group mailbox here? ios@pwc.com, right? Something like this. So this is my email address. What is this parent? Okay, what is this parent here is, let's assume, let's listen to me carefully. We have a group called service desk group. In this, I have 3 people here. Okay, 3 users. In this group, I have 3 users. And I have another group called iOS group, right? In this iOS group, I'm going to add 15 users here, right? But I am adding service desk as a parent as a iOS team. That means what? iOS team is a child group of the service desk. If I'm adding a parent here, what does it mean? iOS team is becoming, we are making iOS team as a child group of service desk, right? Service desk is a parent group. What difference it makes, right? So what difference it makes is, so now what happens? iOS group is part of the service desk now, right? So somebody look for iOS, somebody look for service desk. Let's say somebody selected service desk. If it is not part of the service desk group, they usually see 3 users. But since we made iOS group as a child group of service desk, so whenever service desk somebody log in, somebody use service desk, and they will see 15 plus 3, 18 users within the service desk group. Within the service desk group, they will see 18 users because iOS is part of a service desk. Yeah, iOS is part of the services. That is the concept of a parent and child group. Okay, that is the concept of parent and child group. Now, I'm going to remove this at the moment, right? Then I'm going to submit. What happens here? I created a group called iOS team. Let's go ahead and open incident. Okay, and I say assignment group. Now look for iOS. You will see the team here, right? The team is getting populated, right? Now we have an iOS team here. Now, if you look into iOS assigned to, it talks about if does this have any members now? No, right? So obviously it have no records to display because in iOS group we don't have added any members here, right? So if you look into the groups, look into the groups, open this group and iOS team, right? Do you have any members here? I have not added any members here. This is no records to display. And that's why if you see this in the assigned to, no person will be able to record, no records to display here. Fair enough. All good. So as of now, we are going well here. Now, what is the use case? If you see, create a group and name it as iOS team. We are good still now. And we need to add 15 users. Let's add some random 15 users here, right? How am I adding it? Just go to the group and group members, right? Hit on edit, right? I'm going to add random 15 people here. Randomly, I'm going to add 15 people here, okay? Right? And save, right? So 14 people added now. So now that these 15, the 14 people added to iOS team, if I go ahead and reload the form, they should be able to display it, right? Now let me select iOS team, and if you look into assign to, I still see no records to display. Now this is a question I have for you. Why do you think they are not being displayed? This is related to the class what we discussed yesterday. Any thoughts? Any random thoughts? Just give a thought. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think? Why do you think we have here? Okay. What do you think is the reason why we are not able to see them? Any random thoughts,
Yeah, sir.
right? So,
Yeah, sir. That
okay.
parent is not mentioned in the group, sir.
This is something that what we discussed yesterday, right? It's not parent related issue. Yeah, you give a try, appreciate it, but still, why I am not able to see the members here? Any thoughts? Okay, let me give you a hint on it. Which
Maybe that
table we are
users
in?
are not tagged to incident.
Yeah, see, somebody is close. What is that, Soumya?
Maybe they are not tagged to see those incidents or something, that role.
That role, you're absolutely right? So good, right? So what does that mean here? Where are we, right? What table we are in? We are in incident table, right? Does the incident table is restricted with a role? Yes, there is a role that is being restricted. So that means not everybody can access incident table, right? Not everybody can access incident table. Now let's see, and I'll give you a good example here, right? So I have 14 people. None of the 14 people have access to incident table, and that's the reason they are not being displayed here. You want me to show you proof? I will show you that. in a moment, right? So let's say Alison Gillespie, open this user. Okay, if you open this user, I am granting her access to incident table. I'm granting her access to incident table, some ITIL. So done, right? So now Alison Gillespie have access to incident table. So that means she should be able to see she should be able to display in this group, right? So now I OS, if you see that she will be the only person we can see, because she is out of 14 people, she is the only person who have access to incident table, and that's why she's able to show up in the incident table. Now you understand why we are not able to see the 14 members in the group. Does it make sense? Okay. Now what am I going to do?
Or if
I'm
you need
going to remove this. Yeah, I'm going to remove this ITIL from this lady. Remove, confirm, right? I don't want it to go in this way because this is a ridiculous way of doing things, right? So for example, in this iOS group, so thank God we have only 14 people, and we can manually add users to role here, right? But let's say there is a large group. It's a companies like PwC, it holds a global customer support of a team like almost 2000 people across the globe. Do you want to open each user out of the 2000 users and add it to a role? That's ridiculous, right? It will take a lot of time over there. I don't want to do that, right? So then what is the easiest way this, right? The easiest way is, instead of me granting access to individual user, okay, what I will do, I will grant access to incident application menu to the role, to the group. Instead of me making users powerful, I am making a group powerful. What happens now if I make group powerful? A person whoever added to iOS team will automatically get access to incident application. A person who is removed from the iOS team automatically get lost access to the incident application. That's easy to manage and easy to handle things, right? How can I do that? You see the groups here, roles here. Go to roles, add a role to this group. So what role that I'm going to add? You can add any group, that ITIL or incident only, whatever. Right? This group ITIL here. See. See, right? So now what I did here is, instead of I am providing this ITIL role to each user, I provided this role to iOS team. So what is this iOS team will do? So whoever is part of iOS team, they will automatically grant access to the incident application menu, right? So now you see, I have access to this thing, right? So let's go ahead and review this iOS team and open now. You will see all the 14 people. Yeah, you will see all the 14 people. So that's how we do it. Now, if you open this user, I'll tell you. Now, if you open each user, let's say if you open Alison Gillespie, she have access to ITL. She have access to ITL role. But can I remove her role from her user profile? See that? I cannot do that because access is granted via a group. So if you want her access to be removed, she need to be removed from the group, not from the role. We cannot remove her from the role, right? So how did we access provided? It's not a direct access. Because she belonged to iOS team, she got access. So if she moved from iOS team to some ServiceNow team, and that's where somebody removed her from the iOS team, and that's how she will lost access. You can't remove her access manually here, right? So what does you see? You see a grayed out option. You don't see an option here, right? That is how you handle the groups. That's how you handle the groups. Okay. I'll give a pause for a quick minute. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay.
Yeah, sir, I do have like in the incident you have added the manager
In the incident,
in creating groups.
wait,
Sorry, I have in the creating group, in creating new group, you have added the manager part. I have a doubt in this.
yes, go ahead, Samir. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand John Newton has been added here. So how we can select the any person right here?
Good question. That is the business decision. Business decision is, let's say you are a manager, you are managing ServiceNow team, then your ID will be added. So simply select here and select the user. Select a user. Something you can change anything. Right? He is the manager. He is the person who takes care about your team. Every team have a team lead or manager. You know it, right? Every team has a manager or team lead. Yeah. That manager name you will display. Yeah. Any other questions?
Hello.
Yes, Soumya.
See, yesterday we had created one role, right? Just to view the incidents. From that, we went to that incident and we added a new role to that incident application. So in this iOS team, when I added only that role, I'm not able to see the user list.
Right. You will not be able to see that because assignment group is a field that will be spread across the task. Assignment group
Okay.
is a field that comes from a task table, right?
Okay.
So your incident only will only have access to which table?
Only incident table.
Only incident table. Assignment group is a part of which table? It's a task table. Assignment
Okay.
group is a field. This is part of task table. Look into the dictionary. It is coming from a task table because
Okay.
I told you, see, whatever it is,
So
you
can
see
we
the mouse.
create some new roles which can do that, or
Absolutely. Just go
it
ahead
should
and
be
create.
always
Yeah,
from the predefined roles?
go ahead and create a role. That's fine. Go ahead and create a role and add the user to add the role to task user. That's why we
Okay. So
have
in that
ITL.
incident only, so inside that incident, only if I added this task, then he should be able to see an assignment group also, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Remember one thing before you do anything. The use case here is all the fields. Task is a biggest table. Task is a biggest table in the service now. Okay. Important. What is the biggest table in service now? Task. Task is the biggest table in service now. Your incident, problem, change, a lot of other tables will extends this task table. What do you mean by extends? Is this in the task table? I have caller ID. So what they do, caller ID was something like one. Now a lot of fields, caller ID field, assignment group, assigned to services, whatever the fields that you are seeing in the incident, problem, change, or whatever, those are actually created in the task. These incident, problem, change tables are sharing that main table. Okay, sharing that main table. You know what I mean? So incident, problem, change, or some other tables will sharing this table. So those fields are not actually created here. Those fields are created here. Okay. So your assignment group is where? Where is your assignment group? That is in
task.
task table. Task table. So the role, whatever we defined it, not on the field level. That's not on the field level. Right? That is the role what we created to provide access to application, not for the field. Yes, not for
Okay.
the field. Hierarchy. Right? You follow the hierarchy. You will understand more when we talk about ACLs. There is a concept called ACLs. That's where you actually play around with the field level access controls, table level access controls, contextual access controls, and application level access controls. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Okay. So I am getting a question from this Mr. Amit. Can we export bulk user from MS Excel file? Yes, sir. Go ahead and sys user. Right click export CSV. Right click export and Excel or CSV. You're always do that. Does it answer your question, Mr. Amit? Yes, no, all right. Please respond, guys. Okay. Okay then. Yeah. Very good. Very good. That's about the concept called groups, right? That's about the concept called groups, right? Okay. So, any questions on the users, roles, and groups?
One more question. So yesterday in the user you told, right, we can delegate the user. So can we do something with the groups or roles also? Can we do a delegation?
Can you give me a use case?
Suppose say I have one I have one group, okay, and for some time I need whatever is coming to group A should go to group B also, for a short period of time.
That you have to, I will not say that is not possible, but
Okay.
not with this.
Okay.
Not with this. That is possible. So it's like, redirecting all the approvals, assignments, notification to groups, right? That's possible, but not with this delegate option. This delegate
Okay,
option is strictly with the users, user to
so
user.
for role and group, we don't have this delegation option.
No, you're not hearing me correctly. You cannot do it with this way.
Okay.
This way, you can only set up user to user delegation.
Okay.
But if you wanted to set a group to group delegation, yeah, that's a use case that we can achieve by writing some sort of code. Yeah. Achievable.
So out of the box, do we have like we have for user delegation?
Out of the box, yes, we do have only user delegation,
Okay.
not the groups. Okay.
Mm.
Okay, very good. Okay then. Yeah. So now let's talk about a bulk user creation. Right? Let's talk about some bulk user creation. What do you mean by bulk user creation? Now that we are aware, right, there are how many ways that we can create users? We can create users by adding manually. We can also do it using a lightweight directory access protocol. Then you can also upload bulk records. It's not only dedicated to users. To upload the bulk records, bulk records to ServiceNow, we use a concept called import sets. Okay, we use a concept called import sets. So right, so let's assume I have a use case. I have a use case. My use case would be I have some users in a spreadsheet. Okay, and wanted to upload those users to ServiceNow. So in which table does the users will stay in ServiceNow? What is the table name? What is the table name?
Sys user, sys underscore user.
System is the reason. One second. Okay, so now sys user is a table where we actually have all the users. That means, right? So sys user is a table, right? Is where actually have all the users here. Now what I'm going to do now? Okay. So the users what we have, I'm going to upload those need to be go to the service now, and that will also go to sys user, right? So let's see the use case now. So I have a book one here, book one. This is my data, right? What fields I have? I have users and I have email address, and you can have multiple fields here. That's fine. There's no harm in doing it. Practice it. Now I wanted to upload this data to ServiceNow. In the user, the whatever the data under the user should go to user ID field. Whatever the data that is under email should go to under email. What does that mean? Right? So let me show it to you. I have, if I go to sys underscore user dot list, if you open any of the user, what field the user record have? A bunch of fields it has, right? So instead of me taking n number of fields, I'll only go with the two fields now. What are the two fields? User ID and email. Right? Can you go on mute if you don't mind? I'm hearing some background noise. Right. So now, if you see all the data under user, right? This Joshua Grunberg should go to here, and this a@a.com will go to here. Okay, that's a use case, right? So how we are going to do? So import set have multiple steps. The first thing is, does ServiceNow have access to your data? ServiceNow is a SaaS. It's a cloud platform. Then does ServiceNow have data access to your local desktop? No, it won't have. Then what is the first thing that you need to do? You need to load the data to ServiceNow. Okay. The next thing is, when you loaded the data to ServiceNow, what happens? An import set table will be created. Okay. Table name is import set table. At import set table will be created, and this will be where my spreadsheet data exists. Whatever the data that I had that in the spreadsheet, that will be here in the service now. What's my import set table? That's so this will be become my source table. Yeah, this will be become my source table. Import set table is where my spreadsheet data exists. So now going into the second step, once you have your import set in place, what is that you need to do? You need to move your import set data to a target table. What is your target table here? Where is this sys user data? Where is this user data should go? Which table it should go? It should go to
Sys user.
sys underscore user. So sys underscore user will be my target table. right? Sys_user will be my target table here. So now, when you uploaded this data to ServiceNow, and that will be an import set table, and your target table is something else. How you are going to move your data? How you are going to move your data from one table to another table? So that's when the concept called transform map come into the picture. Interviewer will ask you, what is transform map? Transform map will work as a mediator, as a transporter between source table and target table. What does the transform map will do? Transform map will bring the source data, will bring the data from the source table and paste it here in the target table, So when you're doing a transform map, how do you do that? Because we said there are fields available in the spreadsheet, right? There are a bunch of fields available in the spreadsheet, correct? So what field need to be mapped with what field? Who will decide that? That will be even happen in the transform map. Transform map will work as a transporter between the source table and target table. It also do the field mapping. It also allow us to perform field mapping between source and target table. Right? You know what is now the whole concept? Once you have mapped your data, then you hit transform. When you hit transform, what happens? Whatever the data that is there in the source table will go to the target table according to the field mapping, whatever you have done. Okay, according to the field mapping, whatever you've done. This is your data, right? This is your transformer. So this is a theory, right? Let's go and do it in the practical. So what is the first thing I need to do? I have my book one in my local desktop, correct? So what is the thing I'm going to do now? Just open ServiceNow, load the data. First, what I need to do? Load the data. Load data. Okay, hit on load data, right? And create a table. What is my custom set user one? Something. Right? Custom set user. This is one. So this is my table name I'm going to create, and this will be my import set table, right? And I have a file that I can upload it. What is this data source? What is this data source? Is your data always cannot be a file. Okay, your data always cannot be a file. Sometimes you may receive a data. Sometimes once your service now is integrated with multiple platforms, then your data will be sometimes feeded from your third party tool, something like active AD federation services. And if you see Okta, Google, your LDAP data, JDBC, CSV, and all these integrations, right? When your service now is integrated with any of these platforms or all the platforms, so on that platform you will schedule some timeline on weekly basis. You need to feed the data to ServiceNow, right? That's a different story altogether. It's kind of a integration stuff. For what we are going to do, we are going to upload the file here, right? We are going to upload the file. Choose file and book one. Where is my book one? This is my book one. Book one is my file that I'm uploading. Don't worry about the sheet number head row. That's fine. Hit submit. When you submitted, what is happening? It is saying creating a custom table. You custom set users, right? How many users that is created? It has processed 6 records. It has inserted 6 records. You have not updated any 0 records, no errors, no ignored errors, no errors. It is a smooth transition. So that means what? Your data has been uploaded into ServiceNow. The data has been uploaded into ServiceNow. Fair enough now. Till this, the first part is completed. And your import set table is created. What is your import set table? This one. U underscore custom table, right? Let's go to the import set and look for the table what we created. Import sets. Okay. Custom set user. Book one is what we uploaded. Let's open this. Come down. How many records we had? We have 6 records, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 records. Now open service now. And how many rows that is created? 6 rows. Okay. Joshua Greenberg at a@a.com. Stephen Mecca, b@b.com. Right? Tommy Conway. Let's look at Tommy Conway. Yes. And something like this. So we have all the users that came into the picture. Fair enough. Right? So now what am I going to do? Let me close this. So I have my source data ready. I have my source data ready now. When I have my source data ready, what is the first thing that I need to do? I need to move the source to target table. What is my target table? Sys underscore user, right? So first thing I need to do, I need to create a transform map. From interview, they will ask you the entire process. They'll ask you for the entire process. Okay. And now hit on this is table transformer. Okay. Give it a name. Okay. User transform. Okay. Some data. User underscore transform. Okay. What is your source table? What is your source table? What is your source table? And what is your target table? What is your target table?
Sys users.
For a minute, I thought I'm not going to
System
do
user.
this. Hold on. Okay. Couple of things that you need to understand. Run business rules. ServiceNow's coding has been divided into 2 types, right? So one type is business rules. Do you want those business rules to be triggered on this? Yes. Fine. Enforce mandatory fields. Enforce mandatory field is something. Let's say user ID is a mandatory field. Mandatory field means what? Right? Without you entering that field, it will not let you save the form. That's a mandatory. Mandatory is something like, if something is mandatory, you have to fill it, right? That's one. So let's say I don't have this Tommy Conway in place. First record will be created. Second record also will be created. If we make mandatory fields to all fields, what happens here is the third record will be straight away ignored. It won't create because the mandatory field does not exist. User ID is a mandatory field in the target table, but in your source, the one of the mandatory field is missing. It won't create these records. It won't create records. It will skip this record and move with the rest of the things. In errors, you will see this. There is one record that is skipped or ignored. Yeah, that is enforced mandatory fields. Now click on submit. Okay. Now if you see, come down, in the field maps, you need to do the field mapping. You can do the, what did I mention here in the word? You will set up a source and target. You will also set up the field mapping, right? Why we need to set up the field mapping? Because the data under user need to go under user ID. Data under email need to go to email, correct? That's the whole point, right? You need to set up field mapping. How do you set up field mapping? Click on the mapping assistant. You can also do it from here, right? But if you create a field mapping assistant, the records will be created here. Even this will be, this is where the records created, right? Let me show you. My go to mapping assistant. What fields we have in the spreadsheet? User, email. This user need to be mapped with where? With what data? In sys_user. What did I say? User ID. Yeah. Email with email. Mapping is done, right? See now, as I click on save, there will be 2 records you will see. See now, 2 records you will see. Let's open each record and see. Okay, come down. Okay, the very important thing, it talks about what is the field of transfer map, what is the source table, what is the target table, what field is mapping with what and all. But what is this collies? If you go to 10 interviews, out of 10 interviews, there is at least 7 people ask this question. What happened to what? They will be order. That's ridiculous. That's fine. Sometimes things happen without a reason. Okay. So now, if you go to 10 interviews, out of which at least 7 people ask this question. Collies. What is this collies? Collies means, right? Okay, what is this collies means? Collies means when you make a field mandatory, when you make a field collies, okay, collies, okay, collies. What is this? To make a field collies, enable that field behave as a unique field. This is the book definition. You don't understand anything. I know this. Forget about this. This is a book definition. But for you and me to understand in a layman language, what is it is? Let's say I have this data, right? And I enable collies for these 2 fields. Okay. And these 2 fields, this data, Tommy Conway and c@c.com already exist in the sys_user table. Hear me correctly. Tommy Conway already exists in the sys_user table, right? But you made collies enable for user ID and or both the field mappings. Okay, now what happens is it will create a first record. Before it creates the record, it will check whether we have a Joshin Greenberg and 8.com exist or not. It sees, okay, I didn't find any record, let me create a new one. Second, I didn't find a record, let me create a new one. When it comes to third, it will also see, okay, is this exist or not? It found the same record. Oh, I see. There is already an existing record here. So why should I duplicate it? I'm not going to duplicate it. I'm going to overwrite it. If we don't enable the coalesce, it straight away creates a duplicate. Okay? It straight away creates a duplicate record. If you make coalesce enable, it will overwrite. If you don't make coalesce enable, it will create a duplicate. Right? That is the importance of coalesce. Right? Now, okay, update. Go back. Now we see, click on mapping transform. Now the mapping is completed. Hit on transform. Right? So all good. Transform. Complete successful. Right? Now let's go to our system user. Tommy Conway, Kamlesh Patel, Richard Jain, Stephen Mecca, Sunil Shah, Josh and Greenberg. A.com, C.com, D.com, blah blah blah. All the 6 records is created. Right? So after this thing, if you wanted to see what is happened, the records history and changes what happened, all you need to do, just go to transform history. Okay, open this. It will tell you what happens. There are inserts, no updates, no ignored, no skipped, fine. Right? Open import log. If you wanted to see more logs, just open import log, go here and show log entries, set up the time, submit. It will give you a detailed log of what is happening. This will help you to debug if any error. Yeah. So that's about the transform, sorry, import set concepts. Any questions?
Can you please repeat console in a simple way, sir?
Yeah.
In a much simple way, like a console, as you mentioned. You
What is
just
that?
explained about this console.
Consolidate. What's that consolidate? Can you type it, please? I didn't hear it. What is consolidate?
COALESCE, sir.
That is coolies, man.
Coalesce.
Coolies. Yeah. If you make coolies enable, it will overwrite. Okay. If you don't make the coolies enable, let's say, I'll tell you. Let's say I didn't enable the coolies. Okay. There is a user record that already exists here. Right? What happens? For your understanding, whatever you know. I would not enable the coolies. It will create a record or it will overwrite.
It will override, sir.
Simple.
Why? Because it's
If you
already exist in the.
if you enable coolies, right? If you enable coolies, what happens? It will overwrite. If you don't enable coolies, what happens? It will create a duplicate records.
Duplicate.
Okay. Make sense? Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Very good. All right then. If no questions, catch you Monday.
Vijay, I had actually texted something. I mean, if you
Sorry.
can just Santosh here, if you can just copy paste the Word doc, I mean, whatever you have typed in the Word in the chat box, we'll just refer it for as a document. will be helpful while reading it.
I did. Yeah. Let's go through.
At the end of the day, while you're concluding, if you can give it throughout, it
I
will be
did it,
helpful.
Santosh. You see the
Hello.
chat? Can you see the chat, please, Santosh?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Bye. See you.